So in this short lesson, I'm going to talk about ions. So the big question is, what are ions? Ions are charged particles, meaning that it has either a positive or a negative charge. So how do we determine an ion based on the number of particles in an atom? In order to do that, we have to talk about an element on the periodic table. So let's look at lithium. Okay, if we look at the periodic table, lithium has an atomic number of 4. Therefore, it has 4 protons and 4 electrons. Now, instead of having 4 protons and 4 electrons, let's say it has 4 protons and 3 electrons. So let's go ahead and look at this. Here's lithium with 4 positive charges. Okay. And here is lithium with 3 negative charges. If you notice, these guys will cancel each other out, but we're still left with this one positive charge. So if I have lithium that has 4 protons and 3 electrons, this has a net charge of positive 1. This is an ion solely because it is not neutral. It has a net charge. And since we have more protons than electrons, we have a positive charge. And this is called a cation. And this has more protons than electrons. So you saw an example where we had more protons than electrons. But what if we have more electrons than protons? So we're going to take oxygen, for example. If you look on the periodic table, oxygen has an atomic number of 8. Therefore, it has 8 protons and 8 electrons. But what if oxygen instead had 8 protons and 10 electrons? Okay. If we create the chart with all the charges, here are the 8 positive charges for the protons and the 10 negative charges for the electrons. If you notice, 8 of these do cancel each other out, but once we've canceled them out, we still have these 2 negative charges on the top. So the net charge of this would be a -2. Now, since the protons are less than the number of electrons, this is called an anion. Okay? An anion basically tells you that you have more electrons than protons. So one way I like to teach people how to remember cations versus anions is that cations are positive. Or you can think of it as the plus, or the T on the cation is a plus, so that indicates a positive charge. And an anion is a negative ion. I don't have anything clever, so if you can think of something, tell me in class. But this is what I have for how to remember what's a cation versus an anion.